Is your fleet looking at budget cuts? If so, here are a few places to look when you need to cut costs.
First thing you do when you're looking and facing budget cuts is take a look at fleet size. Um, as we've been going through a pandemic, it's going to be difficult to analyze your utilization because everybody's been kind of at a standstill. But the first thing you need to look at is vehicles. They're the number one cost, over 50 to 60% of your fleet costs. Depreciation is very high. So, every time you eliminate one vehicle, you're eliminating six to $10,000 a year. So that could be significant depending on the size of your fleet. You should measure your spare ratios. Make sure they're no bigger than 10% the most, depending on the size fleet. Other things you can look at as far as fleet cost reductions, you can measure productivity of your staff. People are the second biggest cost. Make sure you're leveraging productivity to its maximum. Things like standard repair times, and direct labor. Those kinds of tools will help you leverage your repair costs and I mean your labor costs and make sure that your people are performing at a very high level. Other things that you can do, organize your work areas, make sure that they're optimal so people aren't tripping on things, make sure they're, preventive maintenance, for example, can be staged. You can have a staging area where the parts are already there and there's the less steps you do, the less time it takes, the less labor hours, those kinds of things. And then obviously you can look at alternative fuels. Depending on where you're at, there are cost savings for hybrid vehicles, electric vehicles, some of those things, particularly once you get past the acquisition cost. So electric vehicles, for example, have very little maintenance costs because there's very few parts. So that's something you can take a look at as you're moving forward in that. And then, if you have any contracts out there with third parties, take a look at them, see where your labor rates are, see if there's some negotiations you can do with parts and supplies and fuel and all those kinds of things.